when you finally made that transition as president, it's not, you get the reins. What do you do next? That's a loaded question, but
yeah, I mean, even the journey up to that point is probably one of the hardest parts. I mean,
okay, all right.
You know, I think, you know, I talk to a lot of people that are in this succession environments, and it's really important to kind of get counsel and talk to people who've gone through it, what's worked, what hasn't worked. You know, for me, it's one of the biggest joys in the world. It can also be one of the most frustrating things at the same time. I know other situations where it's one of the most toxic things they've ever had in their life.
Yes.
And so it can go wrong almost easier than it can go right.
Yeah.
And so it takes a lot of humility for both people to just say, all right, we're going to just do this together. We're going to talk about it. If we've got a gap, we're going to close that gap. And we may have to walk away from the conversation. We may have to come back, you know. Okay. But as time has gone on, we've learned how to work together in that. Okay. I mean, we're both vision people.
Yeah.
You know, we both are strategy people. While he's my dad, if you look at our personality profiles, there's a lot of similarities and there's a lot of differences. So his vision may not be mine and mine may not be his. And there's probably parts of his that are good and there's probably parts of mine that are better, you know, and like, so sometimes the best is you merging that.
Yeah.
And
so iron sharpening iron, and crazy part, it's your dad and you, because, you know, your son always like, I could do this better. I have a better way of doing it, instead of grabbing that, you know, the wisdom, you know, like, Dad, talk to me about wisdom. I'm like, okay. Yeah. It's really listening. You know what? I think Dad is onto something here. I just think I can take it this way. I could respect that part, but merging the vision and the strategy part seems like what a blessing that was, even though we probably had some rough conversations.
You mentioned just a second ago about I could do that better. I mean, I thought I could lead 10 years ago. You know, I mean, and I missed some probably key elements of leadership in this. And so early on, I thought about, you know, does eventually running this company, it means I've got to be the best performer. So I was measuring my success in like how many deals I was able to get across the line, how many countries I visited, how many customers I saw in a period of time. And what, you know, I kept, what hit me the most probably as time went on is it's not necessarily about that external journey and performance. It's, you know, assuming leadership is a lot about the internal journey. And so, you know, my dad used to have this, or he does have a phrase that says every problem is a result of self. And I hated that phrase. I mean,
but it's kind of true.
Yeah, and I would be in a meeting and I'm thinking, they don't know what they're talking about. Why are they saying this? And then so as time has gone on, I realized you can't control what other people think or say. You can control your reaction to what they say.
100%.
And so, and so in that, and trying to keep that in check, like it sent me in a whole journey of coaching, business coaching, meeting with mentors, you know, like I was mainly initially meeting because I was frustrated in some part. And then what I kept finding is that frustration would just go full circle. And I would be like, oh my gosh, that's my fault.
Oh, dang it.
And it really didn't click until the last couple of years.
So you guys were big on the business coaching and mentorship. And, you know, I know just speaking for myself, but I think I could speak for a group of guys in general. We don't necessarily want to go talk about like the true frustrations of whether it's business or family or whatever. Was there an aha moment, a light bulb moment where you said, you know what, I'm going to lower my guard. I need to talk to somebody else.
There's this sense of freedom in being able to talk about, you know, to get something off your chest and talk about it. Mm-hmm. Where it's hardest is hearing it back, you know, hearing the truth back. So I would say, you know, getting stuff off my chest felt good. Hearing the truth back sometimes hurt and still does. So, I have to take it in doses. I've got to process it. Sometimes step away and think, there's no way that I'm like that. And then you start checking into some things and you're like, oh my gosh, I really am like that. So it's, but it does, we have a culture of it. I know, you've talked to Tim and Tommy, like we have a culture of having these kind of discussions with each other and being, I actually
see that anywhere.
I sent an email to one of our guys today and said, man, that email did not look good. And I said, because X, Y, and Z. And I didn't mean it as in like, give him a low punch, and said, I think you meant this, but this is how it's being received. Ooh. And he sent me a note back. He was like, oh my gosh, I think you're right. And, but you have to have a culture of like helping each other with it. I knew it was 100% positive intentions.
Yeah.
And this is like part of the coaching process is how you think you are being received is often very different than how that person is actually receiving it.
So true and so hard.
Yeah. And there's a lot bigger gap there than you often think. And it's something that will forever be a challenge for people, you know? And so having a culture of that, and like, I'm like, please tell me when you spot something.
Yeah. So did your dad, did he in one way or the other instill that as far as, he starts the company, he has employees, a lot of people running the show. Did he carry a tone like that?
He, there's different ways people kind of start that journey. His started through kind of life crisis. His life was in a rough place. Okay. And I think a midlife crisis would probably be an understatement. A lot of people know that, he had some struggles and it bled heavily into our family. And so, I think his journey started through pain of a mess that he was in. I think the thing for me is like, I didn't really have that pain. I mean, I had the pain that he had, like, being secondary to his situation, but I didn't have that like life crisis moment directly. So, a lot of people, I go to church, strong Christian, like a lot of people get brought to Christianity because they've had some deep pain in their life.
Some event.
Some just absolutely wild event that's brought them closer. In the case of me, it was like, I didn't have that in the work environment. So I really took some of the first coaching meetings like as a check the box kind of type of thing. And it had been suggested to me by a few people saying, you really should do this, or you really should do that. And I'm like, okay. I got it. Yeah, right. And then after hearing it enough, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do a couple of these and I'm going to check the box. And then, so in those ones are, I think it has to be with the right people, and so I was with some pretty talented people in those discussions. I thought, oh, wow, this is like, there's something here. And then, so it took me a little bit to start fully leaning into it, and now these are daily conversations, they're cool voice memos to each other. And then what's wild is a lot of times the people that's doing the coaching get the most out of it. So, I have guys now reaching out to me about succession, and while they think I'm helping them, and maybe I am, what they may not know is they're helping me just as much. Sure. And so it's a two-way, it's back to the relationships. It's a two-way thing. You're helping people with real problems. And so, it took a minute to lean into it, but once I finally did, that's I said it on another podcast, and my parting statement was, if you have the opportunity to seek the wisdom of others early in your life, or at any point in your life, do it, but do it early. Don't wait until something happens.
Yeah.